Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a project called Wintoncoin, which is built on a pretty radical idea. What if we could create an entire economy that doesn't rely on money? I know, it sounds wild, but let's see how they think it could actually work. So, let's start with that big question. It's a bold one, for sure, but it gets right to the heart of a huge global problem. You've got millions, and I mean millions, of people who are essentially locked out of the economy. Not because they don't have skills, but just because they don't have cash on hand at the exact moment they need something. All right, so first up, let's really dig into the core problem this whole system is trying to solve. What happens when the money just isn't there? Think about it for a second. It could be anything, right? A pipe bursts in your apartment, you need a ride to a job interview, you need help with a resume. So many of these everyday needs go unmet. Not because people can't help, but because of a simple lack of liquidity. It's about not having the cash right then and there.
And this is where Wintoncoin enters the picture. It basically flips the whole script. Instead of building an economy on the money you have, it proposes one built on what you can do for other people, and in turn, what they can do for you. It's a really different way of thinking about value.
Okay, so how does this thing actually work in practice? Well, the engine behind it all is what they call the cycle of collaboration. The process itself is surprisingly straightforward. Let's say you need help moving a big, heavy couch. You post that as a task. Someone else in the community, let's call them user B, says, "Hey, I can do that." They come over, help you move it, and once you confirm the job's done, boom, the system instantly gives them blue tokens as a reward. At that exact same moment, you get an equal amount of red tokens. And what you've just done is kickstart this incredible loop. By getting help, you've created a commitment, that's your red tokens, to give help back to the community later on. And when you do that, you're enabling someone else to get the help they need. It's a system that's literally designed to fuel itself and just keep going. All right, so this brings us to the really clever part, the two different tokens that make this whole thing tick, blue and red. To really get this, you have to see them as two sides of the same coin. Blue tokens are your asset. They're what you earn. Think of them as cash. They're worth $1 and you can spend them or even sell them. Now, red tokens are the complete opposite. They're a commitment, a sort of IOU to the community. You can't trade them or give them away. Their only job in life is to be canceled out. Now, when these new tokens are created, the system calls it minting. But here's the key. Tokens aren't just made out of thin air. A blue token and a red token are minted together at the exact same time, only when a real verified job gets done. This is so important because it means all the value in the system is directly tied to actual work. And to settle that community IOU, you burn it. So after you've gone out and earned some blue tokens by helping someone else, you can use those to permanently wipe out your red tokens. One blue burns one red, your balance hits zero, and your commitment is fulfilled. Simple as that. Now, this all sounds fantastic in theory, right? But it all really hinges on one crucial thing, trust. How in the world do you make sure people actually follow through on their commitments? I mean, this is probably the first question that popped into your head, right? In a system with no banks and no collections agencies, what's to stop someone from getting a bunch of help, racking up red tokens, and then just disappearing? Well, they've actually built a whole bunch of things to tackle this. It's not just one solution, it's a whole layered system. First, you've got social pressure, things like public reputation scores and community ratings. Then you've got the tech side with smart reminders and even Google Calendar integrations to help you stay on track. If someone consistently doesn't pay it forward, they can end up on a public observation page. And hey, for bigger things, you can even put up crypto or a credit card as collateral. It's all about making accountability transparent and easy. Okay, so let's zoom out for a minute. Beyond just these one-on-one tasks, what's the real potential here? What could an economy like this actually grow into? Well, for starters, think about businesses. Picture a local supermarket with food that's about to expire. Instead of just throwing it all out, which is a total loss, they could offer it on the platform for blue tokens. The store gets some value back, and people in the community get perfectly good food at a great price. It's a win-win that fights waste. And you can probably see how this starts to poke at traditional finance too. Need a $10 loan? Just post a request offering to pay back 11 blue. Suddenly, you've created a peer-to-peer credit market. No bank needed. Or what about sending money to family overseas? Instead of dealing with crazy high fees and waiting days, you could just send 50 blue tokens instantly to anyone, anywhere in the world. What's really fascinating, though, is how a model like this completely expands our definition of what work even is. You can earn blue for doing just about anything the community finds valuable, whether it's a digital microtask like watching an ad or something physical like collecting recyclables. It has the potential to make so much of this invisible, unpaid labor visible and valuable. In the end, this entire massive project really boils down to three beautifully simple but really profound questions. In English, they're basically asking, what can you do? What's the value of what you do? And what do you need? By trying to build a system that can answer those questions for everyone, Wintoncoin isn't just asking us to rethink money. It's asking us to rethink value itself and to imagine what our communities could look like if we all just started measuring it a little bit differently.